We begin with breaking news right now in the latest to stop the spread, and the FDA approving Pfizer's booster vaccine tonight for those most vulnerable. The FDA signing off on the shots, saying that seniors and others at high risk should get the third dose. And now it's up to the CDC to weigh in on their panel to decide who should be eligible and when. And we've got more breaking news for you now when it comes to vaccines, as the city's vaccine mandate on public school teachers can go forward. That's according to a state judge who just now lifted the temporary restraining order. The city had announced last month that school staff had to get at least one dose of the vaccine by this upcoming Monday. Now, this is not the final ruling, as unions still have a chance to challenge the decision. And new tonight, Haitian leaders around the city denouncing the situation many migrants are facing right now at the Texas border. Many of them calling for the Biden administration to halt deportations. News 12's Hannah Klinger has more for us now from Little Haiti in East Flatbush.
It's been a very difficult few months for Haitians, with political instability following the assassination of the president there last month, as well as a devastating earthquake shortly after that killed over 1,000 people. Now many migrants arriving at the border are being deported, something that elected officials here in Brooklyn are actively denouncing. That includes Assemblymember Rodneyse Bichotte Hermelyn, as well as council members Farrell Lewis and Matthew Eugene, who represent the Haitian community in our city.
It is really heart-wrenching to see the images of the border agents whipping Haitians. This, to me, invokes the anti-Black imagery and reminds me, all of us, of the Jim Crow era. And, you know, sometimes we ask ourselves, if these immigrants were of a different race or a different nationality, would this be happening?
This, as Brooklyn Congresswoman Yvette Clarke and others are calling for due process for the immigrants and a humanitarian moratorium on the deportations. They're calling for an investigation into the actions of Customs and Border Patrol. Others, like Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis, say CBP agents need to have the proper resources to do their job, and order needs to be enforced.
It's very unfair when you see what's happening at the border to those individuals who did everything right. So I think it's just a matter of having respect for our nation's laws and our nation's borders and just going through that process. And yes, we should streamline it and work on this process.
And several lawmakers from New York City are planning a trip down to Del Rio, Texas in the next few days to see the situation for themselves and speak with some of the migrants. In East Flatbush and Brooklyn, Hannah Klinger, News 12.